Joe Gambles, welcome to firstoffthebike.com and all. Big year for you last year, 70.3 victories. A couple of misfires, interesting ones that we'll get you to talk us through, but overall, how did you rate 2012?
Yeah, it was my best year I've ever had. As you said, apart from the 2 championship races, which is really where it counted, but Vegas I was a bit crook, and then Kona I went in with a bit of an injury, and I thought it was going to be okay, but Kona's not very forgiving, and pretty much halfway through the bike, my hamstring and hip was completely done, and I couldn't even walk, pretty much, never mind run. So, I had a bit of a break, and pretty much it spurred me on to really want to go back and prepare for Kona properly, and not more as a 70.3 athlete, more as an Ironman athlete. And I've sort of gone in with that attitude and started my training a lot earlier this year. End of November I started training properly, and I've got sort of 8 weeks of good training behind me now, and want to test it this weekend in Auckland, and then see how it's sort of maybe modify training a little bit, and then really set myself up for a good race in Melbourne.
So what do you consider yourself? Are you a 70.3 athlete that does Ironman, or are you an Ironman athlete that can go well at 70.3?
I'm a 70.3 athlete that is now focusing on the big Ironmans, so I'll only ever race the big Ironmans, Kona, Melbourne, Germany. That's pretty much it. I don't want to go and cherry pick an Ironman. Like I did Wisconsin on my first and won it on my first try, and it was a pretty solid field, but nothing compared to Melbourne or Kona. And I like racing the big races, and that's why I'm here in Auckland. I'm not in the shape that I would be in June, July, but I don't think probably any of these other guys are either, maybe a few. That's what the sponsors want, and that's what makes me get out of bed and train hard, is racing the big races and hopefully winning them.
It's a bit of an evolution for you. You went over to the States kind of with your blank singlet, and as you got better and more successful, you've become a lot more commercially viable for the sponsors. Has your life and living over there in the States and in Boulder improved significantly in the last few years for you?
Oh, it's completely different, yeah. Actually, I'm travelling here with my mum, and the turnaround from 5 years ago where she was putting money in my bank account in Europe because I didn't have enough money to eat, to now where I'm taking her on trips and paying for everything, and it's a big turnaround, and I have to thank my sponsors for that, like K-Swiss and Trek. They're amazing, and I'd love to be with them for the rest of my career if possible. I bought a house in Boulder and trying to set myself up for post triathlon as well. So no, it's going really well, and I couldn't really do it if I just stayed in Tassie. I needed to make that move and commit strongly to racing at the top level.
Talk us through the psychology of your race in Kona, the build-up. What was that like as a professional leading into that? And then as you're pulling out, what's going through your mind, and how do you sort of justify to yourself that this has been an attempt that hasn't gone to plan?
Yeah, it was tough. I actually had a really good prep, apart from one ride that just went wrong, and I twinged my hamstring slightly, and had all the work possible done on it leading into the race, but it still didn't come right. But no, in terms of how I felt and my general health, I was feeling amazing, and my energy levels, and I didn't feel like I'd overtrained. I'd hit it exactly right. The thing is, at the end of the season, your body's a bit more susceptible to getting sick or injured, and I just hurt myself a little bit, which wasn't ideal. But it was hard because I was sitting in third place, going through about 60k, I think, on the bike, 70k, and then my hips started to play up, and just watching everyone go by and watching my power go from 290, 300 to not even be able to push 200 because I just couldn't turn the pedals was pretty hard, and then to make that decision where, look, I'm just getting home and I'm not even going to try and run because I know I can't, and you're just hemorrhaging time. It's not great, but I had that whole time from High V all the way back to the Trent T2 to debrief and swear a little bit and come to terms with it, and then pretty much I went and had a beer and watched everyone came in. So and it's really, as I said, it's motivated me more now. Now I've had a taste of that front end of Kona. I can do well in that race, and I know I can, and I just have to really commit. And it's not committing just 6 weeks out from Kona, it's committing now. Sort of 9 months out. to really doing all the right things and getting in the gym and doing my core and keeping my body strong and healthy. And so when I come into Kona in October, then I'm actually ready to go on all cylinders.
I spoke to you after Ironman Melbourne last year, and you made an interesting comment from someone like you who is the Begbie of triathlon. I'm going to borrow a train spotting analogy there. You're a hard man, and you said that you needed to toughen up after Melbourne after being towed by two 40-year-olds. Have you done that? Do you think you've got that in you now?
Yeah, I think so. I know how to really dig deep in a 70.3, and I'm prepared to put it all on the line. And I didn't realise you had to do that in an Ironman to win. I thought it was a patience game, but watching Brownie and Crowe go at it in Melbourne, I just couldn't believe they just kept surging on each other and attacking each other, and it was basically the last man standing. So yeah, I've sort of realised that you've got to be able to do that now if you want to win the big races. Yeah, you can go do a second tier Ironman race and just basically hit your numbers on the bike and hold your pace even on the run, but they're not championship races, and that's what we want to win. And I want to win Kona one day, so yeah, I've got to learn. And doing Melbourne and big races like Auckland, and obviously it gets me ready for Kona in that mental side, which I think that's what you need to dial in.
Just one last one before we let you get on your merry way. 2013 is going to be hopefully a great year for you. What's going to be an A-grade pass for you? What if you look back and say, okay, well, this is what I'm accepting and this is what I'll be happy with at the end of the year?
So if I could just replicate what I did last year with 3 70.3 wins, would be a great starting point, and then yeah, like a top 3 in Vegas and a top 10 in Kona would be really good. And Melbourne really is what I'm focusing on right at the moment, and if I could get a top 3 early in the season, that would set me up, I think, for a good year. So pretty much do what I did last year, but just a little bit better in the championships would be nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck for this season, and obviously we'll be cheering you on.
Great. Thanks, Phil. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.